There's grits and coffee and really yummy potatoes, sausage and eggs, biscuit. And this is peach, French toast, and that's beautiful berries and whipped cream. Can't. This is the best of the best. This is what, well, the highlight for the corporate world is. I used to have 3 of these a day, but now I have maybe 2 a month. Right? Because it's so good. So why, but to live for this, that's the false God. But to enjoy it is appreciation of God's grace and Jesus' forgiveness, right? So, what we're seeing in the global war nothing different. Pretty much has been the same. Well, kind of what Christopher Columbus did with the indigenous people of America. Kind of what Alexander did with most of Africa. What England did when the sun never set on the empire. But most empires, Roman Empire, the First Reich was Roman Empire. Second Reich was the Holy Roman Empire. Third Reich was the Nazis. Well, we're in the Fourth Reich. Hail Hydra. Go watch the first Captain American, second Captain American movies, and that's where we're at, kids. And they bake the bread with the peaches in it with cream inside, like a donut. When you add whipped cream, and those berries, No, that's the enjoyableness, right? So last night, back in the day, I was between 1968 and 88, no, 98, between 68 and 98. I was your basic itinerant scholar. Did you ever see the movie Goodfellas, right? Hey, Goodfellas, they were good, fellas, They have these actors called research fellows, right? That go around and work at places like the Rockefeller Foundation and Brookings and Council on Foreign Relations and Trial Commission. And those are the institutional entities, right? And they do most of that research in all kinds of schools all over the world. Right?
You doing okay so far over here?
You're the best, Matt. You're the best.
All good?
Yum, yum. So, I got paid to go to these different universities like Duke, Cornell, University of Maryland, College Park, University of Pennsylvania, College Park, Amherst, Dartmouth, UNC, and Chapel Hill, the Research Triangle. Lots of research triangles, right? And those are all corporate entities, and they put money into universities. And what the real important thing about Jeffrey Epstein, other than Well, he was a CIA, MI6, Mossad cutout. Was he took these institutional monies and put them to black holes and then donated them to colleges, right? Where they, like he stuck physics, you know, good old Mr. Epstein stuck physics into the, you know, the dead end of string theory, right? Through Michio Kaku. Michio Kaku is a buddy of mine. I've known him since he was at City College / Brookhaven National Laboratory, right? And he was very instrumental in stopping the Shoreham nuclear power plant. He was my guy who went up and got the other old guys from Brookhaven to say, hey, watch out for this. And they're about to do it again. Nuclear power, putting to boil water, to make steam, to run a turbine, is an oxymoron. Because those reactors burn at about 2,500 to 6,000 degrees. And if they get carried away, you get a Fukushima, right? Where it turns the water, gets so hot, it turns the water into hydrogen and oxygen, and then the building blows up. Right? So, the only reason we have nuclear power is to make weapons-grade, cheap weapons-grade uranium, right? And plutonium. Because there is another type of nuclear power where you use heavy water, and it makes about 400 degrees. That's about it. That's as hot as it goes. It's called tritium, right? It's from seawater. You don't have to go dig up uranium. It's from seawater, right? And very safe, very easy. You could mass produce tritium reactors the size of a tractor trailer for about $2 million a pump. And you could drive them to wherever you need power and just drop it off. And the sucker, you could take, if you put these next to nuclear power plants that are like decommissioned but still very hot, you could take all of the fissile material and put it in to the chamber of the tritium reactor, and it will, lower, get rid of the radioactivity, right? Very quickly, in a matter of months rather than centuries, right? Oh. Nikola Tesla developed zero-point energy and wireless transmission. That's why the car is named after him, because they're induction motors. Once you get them spinning, they hardly take any electricity. And you can transmit current to that motor. That was the concept. Back then, the shill of Leon Huss, who is basically Lord Peter Tilt's Sith Lord. Anyway, so that's really where I'm going with all this, right? So last night I was talking to this guy who thinks he's really smart, and for the last 20 years he's been saying it's all the Palestinians' fault because they keep saying from the river to the sea, right? If they only said, hey, we just want, our civil rights, well, they've been saying that for like the last 70 years and not much has happened. So we also have to realize that the Iranian Islamic Guard and the Houthis and Hamas and Hezbollah are all paid for and are SILs, just like Mr. Epstein, but they have guns, and they're causing, all Israel wants is total chaos, right? It doesn't want security for its people. Please. They don't care who's about their people, right? I mean, they're constantly putting them in harm's way. So that's where we're at. Whipped cream. Anyway, so this person, every time I would tell the story of like what's going on, he goes, "You're so full of beep, you're blah blah beep, beep, blah blah beep, beep beep beep. You never even addressed my point that it's all the Palestinians' fault for not saying that all they wanted is civil rights. They don't know how to play the game. Beep." No matter what I said, he didn't want to hear it. And when I told him that Iran and Israel were one and the same via the Zionist/Israeli mob, Hungarian mob are the guys who basically took Islam and put them on steroids. By showing the Persian secret of a horse and a soldier. It's called stirrups. And so the soldier can stand up there 5 feet above the guys running around on the ground with a big sword and just lopping off heads, right? Flying through with a fast horse, and you kind of armor up the horse around the head, around the lower extremities. It's like having a tank. And the longbows would stand back there on top of the hill and shoot the arrows way high up, and then would, that's where the ballistic missile came from. So those archers could put down 1,000 arrows coming from, 1,000 feet up in the air, right on top of the aggressing army. And they'd have really sharp tips that would go through whatever shields they had. They'd have to have really strong shields. And if they had strong shields, then they couldn't carry other stuff. I went into Latsu's. Something of don't start war. War is the worst thing to do. Don't ever start a war. Don't have war. No war. But if you're going to go all in, you have to have well-defined reasons for going in, well-defined reasons, the things you want to accomplish, so you can negotiate, because diplomacy is part of war. It's just war without a gun. So, hey Matthew. Whipped cream. Cannot beat it. So, I've looked at all kinds of people on, YouTube, et cetera, and There's one person there. Hey there, person. Or is that you, YouTube? Is that you, mister? We got my puppy. Is that AI? Do you remember Doctor Who's dog Canine? Anyway, so what we're looking at is that Iran has buried 50,000 sophisticated ballistic missiles, hypersonic missiles, and drones. That really can't be shot down because they have forced the United States and Israel and the oil nations to use up all of their interceptors. So Israel says, oh, we've gotten rid of Iran, they're shooting less missiles. Well, because they're shooting less missiles because every missile they shoot is either a multiple warhead or a 1,000-kilogram high explosive that hits exactly where it's supposed to hit. So they don't need them. They've already got Israel and the United States to use up all their interceptors. And so the next strategic thing is Israel will go after. Iran has said to everyone, listen, don't go after our oil fields, don't go after our infrastructure. If you go after our water desalination, which they don't, all those oil guys are out in the desert. They have no water whatsoever. All their water comes from desalination. There's something like on the order of 60-something desalination plants in all the oil guys in Israel, 60-something, let's say 100 targets. They hit them, destroy them. Israel, all the oil guys have no drinking water whatsoever. They have no water to, have a oil-based economy. You have to distill the product. You got gasoline, diesel, aircraft fuel. Don't have water, you can't do it. Go. Iran has shown that they can hit anything, and they got a lot of missiles. To them, it's an existential thing. About 20% of Iran really is, backs the Islamic Republic, right? And so the guys who run the Islamic Republic are no longer the old guys. Israel killed all the old guys who would negotiate. Now we have all these guys who are, colonels and one-star generals, very well trained, been in the Islamic Republic their whole life since childhood, right? They are 100% in it, right? And they know they can't surrender and go, no, we surrender. No, they have to go all in until they die. They have to be martyred. And that's like the old guys. The old guys could have hid. No. They wanted to be martyred. They were old. I didn't want to die old in their bed. So, there's about 160 different Republican Guard, let's say, wings, air wings, let's put it in Air Force term, air wings, right? And they got tunnels all over the place, caves that cannot be, you could drop a hydrogen bomb on it, it'll still be okay. And they can still launch missiles. Well, the more, look like now, Iran has so degraded the radars that Israel now only has 90 seconds of a warning. So it doesn't even tell its people anymore because what's the sense of telling them, right? So I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's put it up there. Boom, 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 boom. So anyway, it's really interesting where it is. So, and we think we're untouchable here in America. We're not. You can all go behind the veil. Yep. Squash. Looking well, Al. Legend. Yep. Infamous. I was talking to a well-known Southern Baptist preacher yesterday, and he was playing his humility card. I was such a jack of all trades, and I said, no, you're dissing God. He goes, what are you talking about? I said, well, God gave you all these talents. They're not your talents, they're God's talents. You're supposed to, do them to your best ability. And praise God, praise Jesus, right? So you can live in God's grace and Jesus' forgiveness, right? A peace. They come peace. No matter what's going on around, you can be at peace. I mean, look at, hey, Matthew. All right. Oh, yeah. Have a bag and some boxes to go.
What? I'm sorry?
Bag?
A bag and some boxes.
Thank you, buddy. Anyway, so we're talking about the Bible, we're talking about Matthew, and we're talking about after dinner, it starts out, Matthew is really great because it kind of tells very much who Jesus is, right? Starts out with him coming first, giving the Sermon on the Mount, and then coming into Jerusalem as the new Messiah, right? That's what everyone thinks he is. He's done all these miracles. You're the man, Matthew. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Yeah. Anyway, so yep. B. So I'm saying about Jesus tells the boys, I think James and somebody else, one of the apostles, hey, go into town and find someplace where we can have supper. That's what they've always been doing for the last 3 years, living under kindness of strangers, right? So the boys say, what are you talking about? We're your apostles. The girls take care of all that. And they said, no, I want you to. And I said, what? That took me behind the veil, that's right. And Grace, yeah. Grace, that's her name, That's the old clone's name, Grace. Anyway. So, Rubens, did I send you my novels? I'm right now digitally challenged, but back when I had a laptop, I kind of sent everyone who had Gmail my novels. Anyway. So, I'm telling this guy the story about Jesus sending the boys out. And Jesus says, and, by the way, go look for a guy carrying water. Now, back in those days, women carried water, men didn't. So they're like, why should we do this? Blah, blah, blah. We're above this, blah, 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 blah. We shouldn't be doing this, blah, blah, blah. I want to be, Duke. I want to be Earl. I want to be. Of course, they thought Jesus was going to go into Jerusalem and take over, right? Be king, like David. But Jesus had bigger ideas. like to die for everyone's sins so we could basically pick up. Yep. Okay. I'm trying to get my digital world back together, so we'll see what happens. But anyway, so I found this, this preacher, and he's from a pretty big church, and he's pretending he's not. Like I said, kind of false humility. He's a smart guy. Because he's asking me, what degrees do you have? And I thought, well, I'm a psycho-social cultural forensic anthropologist. I go, what's that? And I said, well, I'm a master's in social work. That means I'm a shrink. But understand people's psychology, what does that word mean? It means your worldview, or what you're seeing out of your eyeballs. So to understand any individual's worldview, you got to know their social structure, like who they are right now, what do they think they are, what their job is, what their hobbies are, whether their sex life, like all of that kind of stuff. That's your social, right? What's going on where you live, what bus you take to go to work, all the above, right? Psychosocial and social. Culture is where grandma came from. So what did you have? What holidays did you do? What foods did you have? Grandma, right? Your heritage. Psychosocial cultural. Forensic. It means you look at stuff and you take it all apart and look at all the different parts, and you use Occam's razor to shave for the truth. Right? And anthropology is a discipline that you look at people's cultural dynamics without prejudice. At least that's what it's supposed to be. There's the prejudice of we're white guys and we know better. That's basically acting unprejudiced. We're all, but the guys going on and on about, you don't know what you're talking about. But the Palestinians always said, instead of saying from the ocean to the sea, I said, hey, it's about our civil rights. Well, they did say that. Huh? But no, they didn't. They didn't know how to play the game. And it's their fault that they don't, that they're in the position they're in. Really? 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 So, anyway, and I gave him the 411 of what's going to happen. Thank you, buddy.
Whenever you're ready.
Yep. Time to go cup.
To go cup? Yeah.
There you go. I'll keep telling everyone that this is all scripted, right? The war in Iran, all the wars around the world, they're all scripted. There is no common sense reason. Like, out there in Africa, the army is going up against the rapid replacement force, other than the Europeans and everybody else are giving those guys money to kill all the innocent people. So the corporations come in and just take the stuff.
There you go, sir.
Thank you, bud.
You have a wonderful rest of your day.
Mm-hmm. You too. it's not really good. You don't like that's the connoisseur. The Epicurean. That's me. I'm in a scene in training. I'm an Epicurean. Boo 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 boo. Boo 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 boo. You hurt your temple. No, this is my life wave patch. It's a thing my sister turned me on to. Back in the 60s and 70s, I was at Duke University at their paranormal psychology department, and we were working, that's where I worked with Dr. Bittenoff, the Nazi boy, who basically was trying to create super soldiers, right? And I was making for them because I was fooling around with sensory deprivation tanks and things of that nature in the mid-70s with the all of the New Age crowd of New York. There was a great place called the Green Door, I think. It's on Spring Street, Spring and Worcester, I think, or Spring and Mott, somewhere around there. And it was, like 6-story old, WAP building. I was turned into this, esoteric. Wiser book guys were in on it, and a few other folk like that. So it was quite the groove place to hang out. People from Pumpkin Hollow, which is the Esophagus Society's whoop-de-doo, and a whole bunch of folks from the United Nations, and the United Nations was basically an esoteric organization. Right? And I went into that to help put together a 501c3 nonprofit about alternative technologies in the early 70s, and I came back from my little sojourn in New Mexico. Yeah, no kidding. Because most people don't realize that time is irrelevant. It's an illusion, right? So if you can be in the moment. Cliff Hyde has many little talks about being woke and normies and hello humans, So he has some good little lectures about that, how to, what time and space, what's kind of going on. That's why he's pretty good at remote viewing via AI. I mean, he's the bomb. Other people are kind of cool, like doc journalists, whatever that guy's name is, Daniel. He's okay. He brings on interesting people, like Joseph P. Farrell, and good old, what's her name, the banker lady. And I've done their research, their homework, they have a good story to tell, which is not cool. But most people are not ready to hear, so that's one of the problems. Anyway, so this is a Lifeway patch, and what it is, back there in the New Age crowd, I was playing around with lasers, and I don't know if any of you ever gone to a physical therapist or massage therapist, and they use red laser light to, it's not like a heating pad, it's like light that goes straight through into the molecular level and kind of straightens things up, right? So, in essence, it's pretending to be your stem cell. So that's what that does. There's this guy who, again, was working with guys like Dr. Bitnoff to make a super soldier, and he was trying to develop a way to get super oxygen into the bloodstream. So the guy is about to jump out of the helicopter, as they're flying in, he's breathing through a device that's super duper puts oxygen into every cell of his body, so it's like, whoa! Now, and it's not just breathing in the oxygen, it's more a alchemical kind of scenario. Anyway, so I worked kind of with these guys doing that. The guy who was there, we developed this, right? Just a patch. So this brings I don't know how many of you guys have ever been on when I did, guided meditations where I take you, close your eyes, focus your conscious mind on your breath, blah, blah, blah. And I get you to breathe in the prana, which is the breath of God, right? When you're breathing in that, man, you can heal anything. So, that's kind of where these patches came from. So it's called Lifeway, right? Now I'm about to go see my doctors, and I patch myself all up, right? So when they look at my body, what is this? I can give them this crap about it, because I want to get these patches into the main modality of, industrial healing, because if they do that, our people are going to be a lot better. And they can make money, come on. And I can make money. I'm not against money. I've made lots of money, here, there, and everywhere. It's when you let the money get a hold of you and you live for that lifestyle. That's why I got to be 480 pounds. I was quietly trying to kill myself. Well, and I died. God told me, you can stay in this stinky room for eternity. I can go back down and finish up what I want you to do. So that's kind of what I'm doing now. I'm talking to you, doing God's work, right? A lot of the churchy people hate it when I say, I've been talking to God lately, and they don't like that, right? I said, Jesus is constantly telling everyone they should be talking to God, like that's all it takes. I mean, he told his boys that, but they go, oh, don't go, don't go. Anyway, so that's what the patches are. So I had a big mole here, bigger than the patch. And I've been putting one of the patches, yeah, every now and then, and it has reduced the mole by 90%. It used to be the size of a 50-cent piece, now it's like the size of half a penny. And no scoring, no liquid nitrogen, no surgery, none of that. So, no, it isn't the panacea because, I still have arthritis and all kinds of other stuff. And, well, a good 25 years, I, wasn't nice to my body, so you can't heal 25 years of indulgence. How can we help others feel truly seen? And that's one of the real issues. There are a lot of people, I've been out in the woods for 6 years, just talking to bunnies and butterflies and having a grand old time with God, right? And the cockroaches kind of came in, and then last winter, after the hurricane, we had a super ridiculous winter, right? Like most of the winters for those 6 years were like 60 degrees during the day, 20 degrees at night. No big deal, right? And don't ask, you talk to God, you don't ask for stuff, right? You say, God, bless these gifts I'm about to receive from your bounty, right? Through Christ our Lord, amen. Like, leaving it up to God, right? And then you say, so what am I supposed to do today? One of the things was to come here and have breakfast and talk to you. And then putz around for an hour or two, and then go see my doctors, right? And then go back and do it because, my 60 bucks of food stamps have come in. And I'm going to hit Walmart. And get, what's truly interesting, no matter what the economy is, Walmart has certain things that always stay the same. You have these great English muffins that are always $1.56 for 6. For the last 10 years, it's been that. Nothing up or down fast, right? And they have big bunches of parsley and sage and rosemary and all kinds of yummy stuff. For between 75 cents and 90 cents a big bunch, right? Cilantro, baby. I'm still wearing green. Look at, I put yesterday's show up there. That's how I dress for St. Valentine's Day, which is a day that we celebrate a Roman spy, basically.
So, did Tim get breakfast?
Now, the upside to where we're out geopolitically is if China says, okay, We're going to be the grown-ups. What we're going to do is we have the big container ships, the big oil tankers. We're going to come up to and Iran isn't going to sink us, right? We're going to go up to them. We're going to get oil, and we're going to pay it in yuans, right? And the stuff we're not going to give them money. We're going to give them stuff. You know, we're going to show up with a container ship full of stuff that they need. Diapers, whatever they need. We're going to give it to them. And we're going to trade, stuff for stuff. And then we're going to take these, big oil tankers, and we're going to give oil to India. We're going to give India a lot of natural gas, liquid natural gas, and we're going to give Vietnam and Thailand and all those guys who are starting to get a little uh-oh. And we're going to take yuan for that. No dollars, yuan, right? And and we'll buy their currency and we'll give them our yuans, and that's how it'll go, right? And we'll have other little business things. And we're going to, all those countries that are having a hard time with energy, we're going to start giving them wind turbines and photo cells, and a grid that really works big time, and electric cars, so they don't have to have their transportation built on oil. And we're going to, within 10 years, get a good chunk of planet Earth off of oil. America wants to stick to it. Europe wants to stick to it. Hey, more power to you. We will have cut the carbon footprint by 90%. Right? You guys can choke on the shit. So that'll be that, right? And if anyone shoots at us, like Israel or America, forget about it. We're going to sink your navy. We're going to just go after you, along with everybody else. And by the way, all you other oil folks, you have to get America out of your country. Otherwise, you're going to be attacked, period. That's it. These guys have enough missiles to put you in a stone age real quick. So, you got a choice. And you have to be nicer to your people. Stop treating everyone like a slave. China does that and changes their own ways about how they treat people like a slave. The world will change. And everyone will think China is the best thing. Like, forget America. If you look at China's, constitution, etc., basically everyone copied ours because it was really well written. It was really, Jefferson on it, Declaration of Independence. I'm sure he was high on something. And so, all right. Anyway, so we're been here 49 minutes. It's about 10 a.m. here in Brussels. Still got a pot of coffee and water. Finished breakfast. Packed all the remains away. It's up to you to figure out what is going on and what you want to do and how it should be done. Anyway. Yeah. We are right at this interesting place where we can either go back 1900 years into the Dark Ages and spend the next 1,000 years living in our slop, drunk on mead, or we can step into a better reality of love's co-creation through God's grace, of our submitting to the will of love's co-creation, and receiving Jesus's peace. Peace on earth I give you. Right? That's what Jesus said. Peace on earth I give you. So we can have that, or we can go, we have free will. We can go back 1900 years to the Middle Ages and the Dark Ages and just live and slop where everyone is drunk out of their minds on meat. So good luck with that. I myself won't be there. Or if I am, I'll be, on top of a mountain someplace, or in the deep green, or some other place, right? Because even when that was going on, there were places, the Essenes were everywhere, the Epicureans were everywhere. There were many different sects of higher understanding that were just hanging out, having a good time. They didn't really have to get involved, They did their best with what they had and helped people around. That was kind of how it worked. So we can either do that, or or an asteroid can hit this place and wipe it all out. It can start again. Because our souls were immortal. We really don't have a clue about how it all works, or what it all is, or what it all means, but that's above our pay grade. We're just here to do our best to co-create with love. That's it, right? Ooh, coffee, yeah, baby. So, I'm gonna go thumb through the internet a little bit more. I hope you enjoyed this show. Maybe I'll talk until it's an hour's worth, right? Maybe I'll do that. If anyone else jumps in, come on, hey, subscribe, tell people, go watch other shows of my, Dreamy Dreamland with Sensie Owl Bob. I got like 3,000 shows. Go watch them. They're all over the place. So go check it out. Anyway, thank you. So anyway, that's kind of where it's at. Oh boy, that was a good breakfast. That'll do me for at least another week and a half. So yes, that's what it's about. Not to overindulge, but to enjoy. That's what the Epicureans are. They're all about moderation, but having a good time, right? The Essenes were a lot more, I don't want to say strict, but more disciplined. Maybe that's a better word. But I definitely am more the Epicurean. And that's okay, too. It's okay to be whatever you are, as long as you consciously intend to co-create with God, right? Because that's all God wants, for us to live inside of His love. And it's His, I get really, not confused, but pronouns are irrelevant, right? It's love, right? Because, God is female, as much female as it is male, maybe in a lot more, right? That's why women get put down, because they're so much stronger than men. Men are just weak, useless worms, basically. They're only good for one thing, and that's procreation, right? That's about it. And to pretend that they're going to protect the kids. I mean, they're the first one on the boat, cutting everyone else loose. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna go. I can't take this anymore. So anyway, and all you really have to do is communicate to your significant other, right? You do that. Like I said, I used to be a shrinky boy, and when I did relationship counseling, I'd say, okay, so what's the story? You guys married? Uh-huh. You live together? Uh-huh. You have any kids? Uh-huh. Who works? Who doesn't work? Oh, you both work? Uh-huh. And who makes more money? Oh, the wife makes more. She's a lawyer. And what do you do? Oh, you're a tow truck driver? Okay. Uh-huh. And so you come home at 4, lawyer lady, and you pick up the kids and you get them ready and you get them doing their homework before dinner, and you get dinner together, and then hubby shows up and he goes in and gets a beer and flops down in front of the TV without talking to you, and then you have dinner and he yells at you for making the wrong thing, and he huffs out and goes down to the bar. Is that the story? Mm-hmm. Well, buddy, what do you think? You think you should help your wife with the kids, help your wife with cleaning the house, help your wife? Well, I put out the garbage. No, you don't. You never do. I had to tell you 100 times. So that's usually the case in marriage disagreements, right? And all I have to do is look at present day global politics, and that's the relationship going on. All the guys in charge, Hexhead and Danny Chump and the plan, boss, the plan, right? And Little Marco, all those guys fit right in that category. And everyone around them, all the two guys who are doing all the diplomacy, they cut the diplomatic service by 90%. Whenever you go, in to make an agreement with another country, you need a ton of people looking at every dot, every T, cross everything. You had this last thing that the Iranians gave Downey everything he wanted about nuclear, right? They were, he said, you have to say the secret word. We're not going to make any nuclear weapons. They said that, right? They said, you can have all the stuff. You can, get the IEC in here, and we dig up all the uranium that's in the bottom of the mountain that you kind of collapsed on top of it, or you leave it there until somebody else digs it up and makes a bomb out of it. But you want to go get it? Sure. Come on, let's do it together. Let's get the IEC, and then they can put cameras everywhere in our facilities so they can see everything we're doing, which was what we were doing with the last agreement we had with Obama, right? So go back to that and get rid of and you said, all these airplanes were flying to us with $100 bills. Now this time we want airplanes showing up. We want you to trade the $100 bills in for yuans and give us yuans. Heads high. Shadows of the underground. Real estate. Okay, so I love the fact that everything I say and do on the internet you guys watch, but that's okay. That's what makes me famous, right? Without having to go, he went viral, did you see? He got 6 people to watch, right? So, anyway. Oh, time is going so slow. It's 58 minutes. Just an hour ago it was 57 minutes. Anyway. 2 thumbs up, that's nice. How about some more? And tell your friends, they can watch it at any time. And they can go look at all those other shows that are up there. I mean, there's 3,000 of them. They really are kind of different. They're not the same thing over and over and over and over. It's not like Johnny Boy. And Johnny Boy is still relevant in that he is the canary in the coal mine of fear and loathing, right? That fear and loathing in Las Vegas. Well, that's Donnie Trump, but he's, Johnny Boy, Johnny Toilet. And he's not in Las Vegas, he's in the caves of self-delusion, which we all kind of are affected if you are in the flesh. If you're in the flesh, you got this little fleshy thing here, you're pretty much deluded, right? So just remember that. 59 and 40 seconds. And we jumped a minute and a half just in a few words. That's pretty cool. Isn't that kind of interesting how that happened? I talked and it was only about less than a minute. And then I just said a few words and it was like a minute and a half. And there we are, 57, 58, 59. Bango, 1 hour. Okay, and look, there's 2 people and 2 thumbs up. And I love you all. And I'm going to go now, okay? I'll probably come back